Greetings, YouTubers of all shapes and sizes. This is Buzz Miller of Wannabe Studios. Today, this is step 4 in how to hot rod your piece of junk guitar. Today, we're going to do two things. We're going to install our neck, and we're going to install our pickups. Let's start with our neck. I put my tuning pegs back on there. I've got everything polished. I've got it all oiled. It's clean. It's ready to rock and roll. I look to the back of the neck. Every time, not every time, but almost every time I take the neck off of a guitar for the first time, you get little shards of wood when you pull that wood screw out of the neck. And they're sitting up there like that, almost mushroomed. If you take that and bolt it right back down, there is a good chance that some of that wood could then become almost a shim around that hole. And it can put your guitar neck at a bad angle or put some bad geometry, so your Floyd wants to be really high or really low. And if you don't get flat on flat and in there tight, you don't get the resonance from the string vibration through the neck and through the body. So this is important. Those extra little pieces of wood, I take them off with a countersink. Put it in there with my fingers and just spin it around and kind of grind some of that until it's completely flat and just has a little bit of chamfer going down in the hole. Don't drill down there. Those holes have to remain what they are. But just take that off the top. Make sure you don't feel anything when you're running your finger across it. If you don't have a bunch of countersinks sitting around because you don't build race cars, just take a bigger drill bit. Again, with your fingers, just run it through there. Make sure there's no wood sitting out. We cannot have a little bit of space between the neck and the body. So I like to then do the same thing with the body. A lot of times it's not wood. A lot of times when we painted it, it kind of built up right there on the edge. So I'll take that with my fingers, grind through the paint, make sure I don't have anything that's going to sit high and hold that neck from being nice and flat and tight in that cavity. Set the neck in. Put the 4 bolts in the back. I get them not very tight. Why? 2 reasons. Number 1, we are going to put the strings on this guitar and have that tension pull the neck nice and tight into that junction. Because the tighter we get it, the better it's going to resonate, the better sustain we're going to have, the better punch it's going to have as a guitar. Second thing, if the neck, because it does move just a little bit back and forth, I don't know if you can see that, but if the neck is at a bad angle and then we put the strings on, our high E might be way over here and it tries to fall off of the fretboard all the time. How annoying is that? We buy guitars like that because people think they're junk. We take them home, we take these 4 bolts, take about a half a screw out of them, then straighten the thing, tighten them back down, and now the guitar's worth twice because it plays a lot better. We need to make sure this is nice and centered on our neck. So, put the 4 bolts in there, make sure there's a little bit, make sure it'll move. You don't want it so tight that it won't move, not yet. Once you get it down into there with the string tension and the strings nice and centered, then you snug them in. Don't over tighten them because you can pull them out. But get them nice and snug. The tighter this is to the body, again, better resonance, better sustain, all that. Once we have our neck in place, I like to put in, or at least measure for pickups. I'll take a straight edge or a little sheet of paper, and that tells me how high I want my pickup. And I get a really good idea of how tall I want it in the hole because the neck is there. I do not like to mount my pickups with a pickup ring and a spring. It's moving, it doesn't do what I want it to do, and sometimes at just the right frequency, sometimes those springs or sometimes that screw will vibrate and make noise. Nothing bothers me more than that. I hard mount my pickups to the body with a piece of foam rubber in between them. I use some fancy foam rubber, but like I said, for this build, I'm going to just buy junk. This is some flooring you can get from pretty much anywhere. I think it's $3 for a big piece. And it snaps together. You can snap a bunch of pieces together. It's got kind of a hard side a little bit more durable, and kind of a soft side. I normally like to keep the soft side up, especially if I have poles pulling out of the bottom. This is a Bill Lawrence I'm going to put in the back position. I've never put a Bill Lawrence in an Ibanez style before. Should be interesting. We'll see what happens. Cut that to a square, put it underneath there, and now you're ready to set that in. Rather than have these be threaded and the adjustment of the height comes from the mounting position, coming from the ring with the spring, now I drill these out a little bit bigger so a wood screw can fit through there and slide right in. The wood screw is going to go into the body, and it's going to put pressure and slightly compress that foam rubber underneath there. That's why you need to get an average or an approximate height. That way you can know how much foam to put under there. This is about the right thickness for this. If it's not, you can actually get a pair of scissors and cut it lengthwise to make it thinner. Or if you need like 1.5, you cut it in half, put one square in, and then another half thickness square and put it underneath there. This doesn't squish down a bunch, so you can't put that much in and squish it down to nothing. That's how we're going to mount our pickups. Pickup rings, yes or no? If you solid mount your pickups to your body, you do not need a pickup ring. Most of the fancy guitar manufacturers, when they solid mount them to the body, there are no pickup rings. I like pickup rings. Why? 2 reasons. Number 1, I like the looks, and I think it finishes the build. You don't have that scoop out on the corners of the pickups that kind of looks a little odd to me. Plus, they make some really cool pickup rings. You can get them in plastic, you can get them in metal, you can get them chromed, you can get them black chromed, you can get abalone inlays on them, you can get all sorts of fancy things. It completes the look of the guitar, in my opinion. Second thing, I tend to rest my pinky on the corner of my pickup ring for my bridge pickup. If that's not there, my finger's kind of always searching exactly where should my hand be. But I get that pickup ring in the right position, I can be playing, screaming, jumping around, put my hand down, boom, I instantly know exactly where my hand's going to be. That's where it locates off of. So that's why I like pickup rings. You don't need them. Feel free to leave them out. Feel free to cover these holes before you paint over it, and if you don't like a pickup ring, hey look, it doesn't even look like there ever were any pickup rings. I left my holes because I am going to do pickup rings. But that gets us to the end of step 4. Step 5, we are going to wrap this cavity in copper shielding. Yes, it does make a difference. Then we're going to install our switches and our pots, and then we're going to string this baby up. I'm going to show you in step 6, I think, how to block out a Floyd so you can fall in love with your Floyd Rose style tremolo again. And then step 7 is we're going to rock with this thing. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for section 5. If you have any questions, concerns, leave them in the comments. Thanks for watching. Keep on rocking.